Namaste, friends. I'm Heather Wiest with Love, Serve, Inspire, and today I'll be guiding you through a resilient warrior, all levels slow flow. For today's practice, we're going to be using a looped yoga strap to go around the ball of the foot. If you do not have a strap, a bath or a beach towel would work great. We'll also be using 2 yoga blocks. You can also find 2 thick books for the equivalent. I am here to guide you, but you are always your best teacher. So please, listen to your body, stay safe, and have fun. We're going to begin today's practice lying on our back in reclining bound angle pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. We're going to be using our blocks or books underneath the knees just to give us some support, and we're going to go ahead and keep the strap or towel at your side. So we'll make our way onto our backs, having your blocks or books with you. You're going to go ahead and slowly come on down. You're going to bring the soles of the feet together like a butterfly shape, and then the knees can come out. Your blocks or books have different levels, so just placing them underneath the knees or the thighs at a comfortable position. Once you have that, we're going to go ahead and take one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. And just drawing the attention of your body reclining down onto the mat, and then drawing your full attention to the breath. Nice deep inhale as you fill up, and a cleansing exhale to begin out through the mouth. Another deep inhale in. Exhale, just settling into your space, into your practice. Continuing to breathe in and out through the nose now. Full and steady inhalations and exhalations. Feeling the rise and the fall of the breath underneath the hands. And when you are ready, just shifting into your Ujjayi pranayama, that victorious breath. The lips are closed, you're breathing in and out through the nose. There's a slight audible sound to the breath at the back of the throat. Sounds like ocean waves coming in and out of shore. So just finding that breath for you, smooth and steady, rhythmic and deep. Allowing the body to soften into the shape as we passively open through the inner thighs and the outer hips. Your full attention to your life force flowing freely through your body. "10% of life is what happens to you, and 90% is how you react or respond to it." 10% of life is what actually happens to you, and 90% is how you react or respond to it. Our theme being resilience today. We are resilient warriors. Those qualities in us that allow us to overcome life's challenges, and even through hard times, come back stronger than ever. So thinking of a time or multiple times in your life where you have been resilient, you have bounced back, you've stayed positive, you have that optimistic attitude. You've sought out support around you to help build you up and lift you up. You've dropped deep inside to connect to that faith that gives you hope and peace. Our yoga practice helps us to connect deeply within, to find that steadiness, that ease, that strength, that resilience, that no matter what changes on the outside, and that's a daily. The world changes, people around us change. There's always something changing and shifting and fluctuating, and it's not consistent. But what is consistent is our heart, our spirit, and our soul can be strong, steady, and resilient. 3 more deep, full breaths, inviting more resilience into your life, knowing that those things on the outside are going to keep changing. But can you increasingly be more steady, at ease, strong, and resilient? And we're gently going to release the hands off of the body, bringing it to the side. Just bringing some gentle movement to fingers and toes. And then we'll gently draw the knees to center, grounding the feet down. You can shift your blocks or books back off to the side. If it feels good here, you can take a full body stretch from head to toe. And then we're going to go ahead and place a bend into the knees again. You're going to find your strap or your towel. You're going to take the loop of the strap or wrap the towel around the ball of the right foot. We're going to begin to extend the right leg to the sky. You're going to go ahead and try to relax the arms onto the mat. And if things are going well and the lower back is healthy, feel free to extend that left leg on the mat, a nice flex into both feet. And you're pressing both thighs, tops of the thighs, into their hamstrings. So very active legs here, and you can bend as much as you need to in that right knee. Once you get settled in here, I want you to give me a thumbs up with that right hand. Everything's going really well. And I want you to take that right thumb right into the top of that right hip crease. Just giving yourself a little self-adjustment as you push the top of that thigh down, creating more space between the pelvis and the thigh, and feeling a little more action into that hamstring. It's just a nice way to feel the pose a little bit more. And then as you're ready, keeping that feeling there, you can release the thumb and bring it back to reach for the strap or the towel. So a few more breaths here, really opening up through that hamstring. So you're reaching that right heel to the sky, getting a nice opening there. Again, you can keep as much bend as you need into the right knee. You're feeling it just as much with that bent knee. Allowing our muscles to lengthen as we engage them and stretch them at the same time. One more full breath. So from here, we're going to find the external rotation of the right leg. So from the very top of the thigh, I'm going to rotate it out to the right. So my foot turns actually about a quarter turn towards the right. And then keeping my left hand on the top of my left thigh and hip, I'm going to take my right leg about halfway over to the right. So I want to stay stable into my pelvis and the lower back. Just protecting my back here. I don't have to go into my full range of motion. I'm really keeping that active right and left leg, but finding a little more external rotation into the right leg. And then we're going to take another variation here. The left arm is going to come up overhead behind you, and then you're going to take a side bend to the right, just with that upper torso. So you're feeling a little stretch into the left side body, so similar to a half moon shape here. So you're engaging through the legs, stretching through the left side body as well. One more full breath here. returning that left arm and torso back to center and bringing the right leg back up to the sky. You're going to bend into the right knee, release that strap or towel, and you're going to hug both knees into the chest. Rocking gently side to side, feeling the difference from the right and the left leg. And we're going to repeat that all on the left leg. So grounding the feet down into the mat, you're going to extend the left leg up. You're going to bring the towel or strap around the ball of the left foot, and then beginning to extend that left leg to the sky. So really flexing through the foot, heel to the sky, and then if things are going well, you can always keep the bend into the right leg. If you like to extend it long, go ahead and take that. So again, pressing both tops of the thighs towards their hamstrings, but you can always bend into that left knee so you're not hyperextending or too much pressure into the hamstrings. And then give me a thumbs up with that left hand. You're going to take that thumb and gently root it into the top of that left thigh, giving it a nice little push forward where you feel that space between the thigh and the pelvis, feeling a little bit more at the very top of that hamstring. Once you feel that, keeping that feeling, releasing the thumb, reaching for your strap or towel, and just continue to breathe into this fabulous stretch. Supta Padangustasana 1. Staying breath connected throughout your practice today, most important part of our practice. One more deep, full breath. And then externally rotating through the left leg, finding at the very top of the thigh. And you find that your foot rotates about a quarter turn to the left. You're going to bring your right hand to the top of that thigh and right hip, and then take the about halfway over to the left. So finding that nice external rotation while keeping the lower back and pelvis stable. To add a little stretch into this, we're going to take the right arm up and overhead, and we're going to lean over towards that left side, getting a stretch into the right side body. Feels like a half moon type of shape here. One more deep full breath. And we're going to go ahead and take that right hand back, the torso back, lifting the left leg back to center, placing a bend into the left knee, releasing that strap. We're going to go ahead and hug the knees into the chest. Give it a nice rock and roll. If you need to come onto your side to come back up into seated, feel free. Or you can reach behind the hamstrings. Go ahead and rock on up. Once we're at the top, you're just going to find a comfortable seat. We're going to bring our hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. From Anjali Mudra, we're going to go ahead and keep the pinky and the thumbs touching. The fingers are going to spread out wide. This is Lotus Mudra. It's the mudra of perseverance and resilience. So just allowing yourself to feel this mudra, allowing the eyes to close. And I want you to visualize a lotus flower as it is in that thick, muddy water, and it makes its way up to the surface of a lake or a pond, and it sees the light. It sees that light and it begins to bloom as it persevered through those muddy, thick waters to come into its full bloom. So just visualizing those times in your life that you have been resilient, similar to that journey of the lotus flower, Padma Mudra. Then drawing the hands back to center, bowing the head into the heart, sealing your intention. And we'll release the hands, open the eyes. We're going to transition into tabletop position on hands and knees. Finding your tabletop, spreading those fingers wide. You have the shoulders over the wrist and the hips over the knees. The feet are relaxed behind you. We're going to go ahead and inhale, bringing the head and the heart forward. And then exhale, round through the upper back, draw the navel in towards the spine. Continuing here with your breath, creating some space and length into the spine, allowing it to feel good. Feel free to add any additional movement here that you'd like. You can wag the hips side to side. You can take some big hip circles. And go ahead and bring it back to center now. We're going to take extended tabletop. So you're going to go ahead and take that right leg up and back, a nice flex into the foot, the right thigh drops down, and you're creating a wall with the left thigh and hip. Navel draws in towards the spine, so you're actively engaging that lower belly. As you root through the right hand, the left arm's going to come forward, thumb to the sky. The gaze is at the very top of your mat. Lengthen through the back of the neck, really bringing strength here into our spine as we hug into midline. One more full breath in this variation as you push that right hand down and away. We're going to keep the leg lifted and the left hand's going to return to the mat. You're going to keep the wall with the left thigh and hip, and you're going to find that external rotation at the very top of that right leg. We're going to go ahead and exhale, bringing that knee in towards the elbow or shoulder, and then you're going to inhale back. So keep it slow and controlled. Exhale, knee in towards that elbow or shoulder, tricep area. Inhale back. One last time, you're going to hold it in. You're creating that wall with the left thigh and hip. And the option here to extend that leg long, building strength in that gluteus medius. And then we can bring the leg back and all the way back to neutral and that right knee to the mat. Hello, gluteus medius. Turning that thing on. We're going to take that to the other side. So as you're ready, inhaling the left leg up and back, a nice flex into the foot. Again, dropping down with the left thigh and hip, leveling out through the lower back and the pelvis, and hugging in with the right thigh and hip. You're going to root through the left hand, right arm forward, thumb to the sky. Engage the lower belly and soften through the sides of the neck here. Allow those shoulders to be relaxed even though you are working, hugging everything into midline. Couple more breaths here, working our balance, working the strength of our spine. And then we're going to keep that left leg up. The right hand's going to come to the mat. Keeping that wall with the right thigh and hip, you're going to externally rotate that left leg. And as you exhale, the knee is going to come in towards that elbow, tricep, or shoulder area. Inhale back, keeping that wall on that right side. Drawing it in on the exhale, crunching it in. One more round, you're going to hold it here, feeling that outer hip turn on. Option is straighten out through that leg. Lift, 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 getting some strength there. And then bend back into the knee, back and down at neutral, and the left knee will come to the mat. Beautiful job. We're going to be taking side plank prep next, and I'm going to root through the right hand and the right foot. The left leg's going to come long. So you're going to see the back of me here. I want to make sure that that shoulder's over the wrist. I'm going to take that left hand to the sky. And then I'm going to extend that left arm overhead, palm towards the mat. I want to draw the shoulders away from the ears. And then you have the option here of lifting the left leg up off the mat a few inches. So you have a hard flex. It's like you're kicking the wall. And you're lengthening the tailbone towards that heel. We're going to take some oblique crunches here. They're always optional. As you exhale, the elbow is going to come in and meet that left knee. You're going to inhale back. 2 more times here. Exhale, elbow into that knee. Inhale back, slow and controlled. Again, working the strength of that outer hip. Inhale back. And then we'll go ahead and bring the hand back up, the foot down, returning to tabletop position. Good work. We'll take that on the other side. Root to the left hand, the left foot, the right leg will come out strong and straight. Left arm up, gazing down, right arm up, gazing down at that left hand, making sure the shoulder's over. We're going to go ahead and take the right arm overhead, palm towards the mat, but yet draw the shoulders away from the ears. Then we'll go ahead and inhale, lift that right leg up to comfort. Lengthen the tailbone towards the heel so you're engaging the core. And then we're going to work those oblique crunches. So as you exhale, elbow into the knee, crunch it in. Inhale back. 2 more, slow and controlled. Challenging our balance as well. 1 more full round. You got this. Nice work. We'll go ahead and take that arm back up. The leg comes down, back into tabletop. We're going to take puppy dog pose here. The hips are going to stay high over the knees. The arms are going to reach forward, and your forehead is reaching down towards the mat. Soften in for a couple of breaths. Then we're going to add a different movement in here. Feel that nice opening into the upper back. And then we're going to go ahead and lift the head up, come up onto our fingertips. We're going to walk the fingertips over to the right corner of your mat and then go ahead and soften the head back down. So draw that left thigh back and in, so feel a little more stretch through your left side body. 1 more full breath. Then you'll lift the head back up. You're going to walk the fingertips now over towards the left corner of the mat. Draw that forehead down to the mat. Feel a little more stretch as you draw that right thigh and hip back and in. Feel the stretch in the right side. And then we'll go ahead and lift up the head. Walk the fingertips back and in onto your mat, preparing for downward facing dog. Tucking the toes under. As you exhale, the hips are going to come up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pushing the hands down and away. Tops of the thighs are drawing back and up. And the front ribs are going to hug in, bringing stability to the torso. You're going to go ahead and engage the upper outer arms, but relaxing through the sides of the neck. Let the head just be very relaxed here. We're going to bend into the left knee and ground the right heel down to comfort onto your mat. So feel that nice stretch all along that right leg. Wherever you feel it is where your body needs it. And then we're going to switch, bend into the right knee. The left heel will ground down. Feel the nice stretch, this time into that left leg. And then we'll go ahead and ground that right heel down. We're going to inhale up onto the balls of the feet. We're going to swivel the feet over towards, or the heels over to the right side of your mat. And then place a generous bend into your right knee. So the shoulders are staying steady, but you can feel that left hip drawing back. So you're feeling a stretch along the left side and the left leg. Then we'll inhale both heels back to center. You're on the balls of the feet. You're going to swivel the heels towards the left corner of your mat, ground them down to comfort, and then place a generous bend into the left knee. So the shoulders are steady, but you're drawing that right thigh back. Feel the stretch along the right side and the right leg. We're going to inhale, coming back to center. We're going to place a generous bend into the knees. You're going to gaze forward. You're going to shift into plank pose, always an option to come to the knees. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So taking some dynamic movement. Bending into the knees, gazing forward, shift into half or full plank. And then exhale, downward facing dog. 1 more full round, bend into the knees, gaze forward. Shift into plank. You can always drop to the knees. We're going to exhale all the way down to the mat. And then we're going to go ahead and lift all the way back up. Downward facing dog. Nice work. We're going to elephant walk to the hands. That means we're going to try to walk on our heels, really opening up through the hamstrings and the back of the legs. Once you find your hands, you're going to take a ragdoll forward fold. You're going to clasp opposite elbows. You're going to bend into the knees generously. And then feel free to sway side to side. Let it feel good.
Let your head and neck and jaw go. Option to interlace the hands behind the back. You can rest them at the sacrum or lift them away from the back and then draw the shoulders away from the ears. Feel all that length in the side of the neck. And then lastly, we're going to interlace the hands behind the neck gently. Elbows drape down towards the mat. Let everything go here. A couple more breaths. And then gently release the hands to the mat. Generous bend into the knees. Hands to the hips on the next inhale with a flat back. Come up to standing. Nice job, everyone. We're going to come into our half sun salutations, and we're going to step on our blocks for them, just to help open up through the hamstrings. One of my favorite ways to do so. You're going to find yourself on top of the blocks or the books if you have them. If you don't have either, that's fine. It'll be just fine. And finding Tadasana, mountain pose. Maybe you rock a little back and forth on the feet, side to side, finding your center. Nice tall posture. Feel strong like that mountain. Feet rooted into the earth. Crown of the head lengthening towards the heavens. We'll inhale the arms up and overhead. As you exhale, you're going to forward fold at the hip crease and take those thumbs again into the tops of the thighs as you bend forward. Just a nice way to feel that. We're going to inhale, release the hands, bring them to the outsides of the shins, half lift. And then exhale, forward fold. Let the head drop. Root through the feet, sweep the arms to the sides, up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. 2 more full rounds. Inhaling the arms up. Maybe you gaze towards the sky. Exhale, push the tops of the thighs back. Maybe you take the thumbs in and just give you that little reminder. Forward fold. Releasing the hands, inhaling for the half lift. Really turn on the quads here. Engage those legs. You can always bend the knees. Exhale, fold. Root through the feet, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. 1 more full round. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, lead with the heart, tops of the thighs, pressing back. Use those legs, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana, release the head. Root to the feet, sweeping the arms all the way up, Urdhva Hasta in Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart, Samasti Tihi. Great job. We're going to come off the blocks carefully. Bring the blocks off to the side and finding Tadasana. We're going to do a couple rounds of sun salutation A. We're going to inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for your half lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. The right leg's going to come back, followed by the left. You're in plank pose. We're going to exhale through chaturanga all the way to the mat for the first round. Releasing the tops of the feet, push through the tops of the feet, kneecaps lift as you inhale for low cobra, elbows hug. Exhale, back down. Tuck the toes. You're going to lift through half or full plank. Tops of the thighs bring you back, downward facing dog. Rooting the hands firmly into the mat. Maybe you come onto those fingertips a little bit. Feel those front forearms turn on. We'll take that left foot up between the hands. Hold for a moment, it just feels really good. Then follow by the right. Inhale for the half lift. And exhale, fold. Root to the feet, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll take that on the second side. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, push the tops of the thighs back as you reach forward. Inhaling for the half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant the hands, left leg back this time, followed by the right. Can drop to the knees at any time you need to. Exhale through chaturanga. You continue to low cobra or come into upward facing dog. Strong, strong legs. Transitioning through plank. If you're in low cobra, we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Pushing the hands down on the way, tops of the thighs reaching back and up, front ribs hugging in. We'll take that right foot up between the hands. Hold for a moment, it feels nice. Followed by the left. Inhaling for the half lift. And exhale, fold. Root through the feet, sweeping arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. So we're going to take one more round on our own. Feel free to step back just like we did. If you have a jump back practice, you can take that. If you want to come into your handstand, if that's in your practice, feel free. We are going to meet in downward facing dog. So as you're ready, work with your breath. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. You can step or jump back. Chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra, upward facing dog. Transitioning through plank if you need to. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. 3 deep full rounds of breath here. Really refining your downward facing dog. Finding that energy of pushing the hands down and away, drawing the legs back, hugging that core in, upper outer arms turn on. Rooted through all areas of the hand, especially the base of the index finger and the thumb. As you're ready, everybody's going to float the right leg up and back. We're going to open up into external rotation, keeping the shoulders stable. And then we're going to bend into that right knee. You have the option of just holding here, opening up through that hip, or you can take hip rotations. 3 in one direction, 3 in the other. If you're holding steady like me, you're going to try to draw that right knee a little bit higher to the sky. Get a nice, beautiful opening in that leg. Stabilizing through the shoulders, rooted into the hands. One more deep, full breath. And then we'll go ahead and straighten through the leg, but you're going to keep the external rotation. Similar to what we did in tabletop, we're going to exhale that right knee in towards that shoulder or tricep, and then inhale back. Externally rotated right leg, the knee draws into that right shoulder tricep area. Inhale back. One more full round and hold it here. Option to extend that leg to the side for strength. Place a bend into the knee. Bring it back. And then back to neutral. And then downward facing dog. Feel that opening on the right side. The strength of the right side. We'll take that on the left. We'll inhale the left leg up and back. Externally rotate through that left leg. Stay stable through the shoulders. Bend into the left knee, opening up through that hip. Feels so good. Can hold steady or take the rotations, equal number of times in one direction and the other. If you're holding steady like me, you can take that left knee a little higher to the sky. Push away with the hands evenly. Let it feel good. One more full breath. Then we're going to extend the leg straight. Keep it an external rotation. Keep that wall on the right side of that thigh and hip. We're going to exhale the left knee in towards that tricep or shoulder. Inhale back. Exhale again. Knee towards that left shoulder or tricep. Inhale back. One more time and we're going to hold for strength. Option to straighten that leg out to the side. Hold, hold, hold. Strengthen that outer hip. Bend into the knee. Bring it on back. Back to neutral and downward facing dog. One deep inhale here. And exhale. We're going to bend into the knees. We're going to gaze forward. You're going to step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Let the head go. Root through the feet, sweep the arms all the way up, Urdhva Hasta in Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart. Samasti Tihi. All right, we're gonna add on here. We're gonna come into Utkatasana, fierce pose. So you're gonna squat on down, fingertips by the sides of the feet if you can, then the arms all the way up. Super strong pose. Utkatasana, fierce pose. Feel your strength, your steadiness, and your resilience here. Draw the hands to heart center. We're gonna twist to the right. So you're gonna squat down. You're gonna bring the left elbow over towards that right thigh, and then push the palms together. Find a nice twist as that left thigh draws back and in, and you squat down. We'll take it to center. We'll twist to the left. So we'll take the right elbow to the outside of the left thigh, push the palms together, squat down. That right thigh draws back and in. And then exhale, center and forward fold. Good work. Inhale for the half lift. Exhale, bend the knees and plant the hands. We'll take the right leg back. We're going to seal the right foot down, preparing for warrior one slowly. So wherever that back foot feels comfortable, seal it down, bend into the front knee, lift the hands a couple inches off the mat as you draw that left thigh back and in, then the arms by the ears, and then all the way up. Virabhadrasana 1, warrior one pose, super strong. You can take that left thumb to the very top of that thigh and push it down and back. Feel that nice adjustment. You're lengthening the tailbone down or frontal hip points. Lift whatever resonates with you. And you're solid through both feet. You're solid through the arms. Couple more full breaths. Finding a point of focus for yourself. And that back leg super strong as well. And then we're going to open up our arms into warrior two. For me, I like to keep that front leg stable and I adjust my back leg a little bit to move it back to find my full expression of Virabhadrasana 2. So you want to really keep a nice deep bend in that front knee. We're working this front quad, the outer hip rolls down and under, and that back leg super strong and giving a little release to the low back. Rooted through both feet. Feel the heels scrubbing together. So energetically, you're drawing up through center all the way up. Nice, strong arms. Beautiful job. So just being really picky about that knee, just making sure that knee is right over the ankle and over the second toe. One more full breath. We're going to flip our front palm, taking reverse warrior, Viparita Virabhadrasana. It's also called peaceful warrior. So really lengthen through that left thigh and hip. Find that length there. Keep the bend into the front knee. Now, instead of dumping into that hand on the back of the thigh, bring that arm back. Feel your strength. Feel your length. Feel your resilience. One more full breath. And then returning back to warrior two. We're going to take side angle pose, Parsvakonasana. So we're going to start with the arm on the thigh today. So you can kind of feel your arm dumping into that thigh. That's what we naturally want to do. And the right arm to the sky. So I'm going to challenge you today to either float the arm on the inside of the thigh or take the hand to the inside of the foot or find your block. The block has multiple levels that you can use. So I'm going to be taking my hand down to the foot. And I really want to try to find length through both side bodies, even the one on the left side here. And then we'll take the arm up and overhead, Uttita Parsvakonasana. So easy to skimp on the bend into the front knee. So bend into that front knee. Once you have the arm overhead by the ear, try to find a little more twist in that torso as you push that left arm into the left thigh, and that left thigh rolls down and under. Beautiful job. One more full breath. Then we're going to take that right hand to the sky, and we're going to go ahead and straighten through the front leg for triangle pose, Trikonasana. Bringing the hand to the shin, the ankle, the block on the inside or outside of the foot, wherever it feels good for you.
And then draw the shoulders away from the ears. Create some length here. Again, rooted through both feet. I like to feel my left thigh and hip drawing back towards that back heel. Just gives me a little more space into the lower back. One more full breath. Keeping the strong straight legs, we're going to reverse our triangle. Feels so nice. Get that length through that left side body. And then inhaling back, bending into the front knee for warrior two. We're going to take a variation of humble warrior by interlacing the hands behind the back. So classically, humble warrior is taken in warrior one. We're going to take it in warrior two today. So keeping the tailbone lengthened and the frontal hip points lifting, I'm going to go ahead and draw those shoulder heads back and then come on down on the exhalation. So really finding a nice spot again for that right shoulder to resist against that left thigh. And then the hands can stay at the low back or they can lift up. Now keep the generous bend into that front knee. You're working really hard. Use those inner thighs as the heels scrub together, but stay super strong through the feet. Let the head drop down towards the mat. One more full breath. So strong. You are strong, steady, and resilient. We're going to inhale, lifting up all the way up. With grace and ease, returning to warrior two. We'll cartwheel the hands to the mat. That left leg will come back to plank pose. Option to drop to the knees. We're going to work through our Ardha Vinyasa. Exhale through Chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra, upward facing dog, strong legs. Transitioning through plank. If you're in low cobra, we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Pushing the hands down and away. Tops of the thighs pressing back and up. And then those front ribs really hugging in. Upper outer arms are turned on. Another couple full deep breaths in down dog. Feel Adho Mukha Svanasana. On your next inhalation, we're going to float the right leg up and back. Three-legged downward facing dog. We're going to go ahead and take that right foot up between the hands. We're going to seal the back foot down to comfort, preparing for a slow rise, warrior one. So that right thigh is drawing back and in. We're going to lift the hands a couple inches off of the mat. Then the arms by the ears, slow and controlled, coming all the way up. Adjusting your stance to make it feel comfortable for you. Let that back knee feel comfortable at whatever angle that is for you with that foot. So keeping the knee over the ankle, over your second toe. Maybe you take that right thumb to the top of the thigh, rooting it down and back, getting that nice adjustment. And the back leg super strong as you're rooted through both feet. Arms nice and strong, lengthening through the inner elbows. Tailbone lengthens down, frontal hip points lift. Find that nice stretch into the front of the left thigh. One more full breath. Then we're going to transition to warrior two, opening up through the arms. Again, keeping that front leg solid, you can adjust that back leg. Nice job. So finding a nice stance for your warrior two. Keeping the bend into the front knee, feel that right thigh drawing down and under, and that back leg has a little internal rotation to release through the low back. Strong arms, strong focus. Feel the heels rooted and scrubbing together as you lift up through the middle of the body, all the way up. One more full breath. We're going to flip our front palm, taking our reverse warrior, Viparita Virabhadrasana, peaceful warrior. Feel that back hand kind of dumping into the leg, and let's go ahead and take that hand back. Feel your strength here. Really keeping the bend into the front knee. One more full breath. Returning back to warrior two. transitioning into that side angle. So I'm going to go ahead and just start with the arm on the thigh, taking the left arm to the sky. So getting that nice opening through the left side body. Bringing the block on the inside of that right foot if you need it. We're either going to float the arm on the inside of the leg, bring the hand down to the mat, or the block has 3 levels. Continuing to draw the right thigh down and under and resist that right arm into that right thigh. We'll take the arm overhead, Utthita, extended. And now can you find a little more rotation in the torso as you gaze towards the sky? So on that inhale, you lengthen. Exhale, twist a little bit more, staying solid through both feet. One more full breath. We'll take the left hand back up towards the sky. We're going to go ahead and straighten through the front leg. The hand can stay on the floor of the block or reach for the shin. You can always micro bend into that right knee so you're not hyperextending. I like to feel the root of my right thigh drawing back towards my back heel, just giving a little more space for my lower back. Lengthening through both side waist, even that right one that's on the bottom. We're going to go ahead and reverse our triangle, keep the strong, straight legs, windmilling the arms back, right arm to the sky. Beautiful stretch on that right side. Then inhaling back into Warrior Two. Working into our humble warrior variation. Interlacing the hands behind the back, drawing the shoulder heads back, getting a beautiful opening through across the top of the chest. Strong legs, generous bend into the front knee. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, fold into that front leg. Again, taking that right shoulder and arm into the inner thigh of that right leg, resisting, and then finding your full variation here. The arms can lift away from the lower back. Strong straight legs. Keep the bend into the front knee. 2 more full breaths. Feel yourself solid and strong. As you're ready, we're going to inhale, keep the bend into the knee, coming back to Warrior Two, and breathe here. You are steady, you are strong, and you are resilient. Find it in your practice on the mat, and then take it off of the mat. We'll cartwheel the hands to the mat. Right leg will come back. You're in plank pose. Feel free to drop to the knees. We're going to come through our Ardha Vinyasa. So exhale through Chaturanga. Inhaling, low cobra, upward facing dog, strong legs. Transitioning through plank if you need to. Meeting in downward facing dog. Few breaths here. One more deep, steady, full inhale. And exhale. We're going to bend into the knees. You're going to gaze forward. You're going to step or float to the top of the mat. Inhaling for your half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhaling, Utkatasana. Find it deep inside you, that strength. Hands to heart center. We're going to twist to the right. Left thigh draws back and in. As you push the hands away, find that beautiful twist. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Weight more into the heels. Find that beautiful stretch. Inhale to center. And all the way to standing. Good work. Allow the eyes to close. Keeping the hands at heart center. Pushing those thumbs and pinkies together, separating the rest of the fingers. Lotus Mudra, Padma Mudra. That beautiful lotus flower in full bloom. It took a lot of time for it to grow, to rise to the surface, to see the light and to come into its full formation. How does that resonate with you right now? Looking to your light, your source of strength, that inner strength, that no matter what's happening around us, we can stay steady, strong, and resilient.
Allowing the palms to close again. Opening the eyes. Softly releasing the hands. Good work. We're going to come into Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana 1 and 2. So that's basically an extended hand to big toe pose. We're going to be taking our leg forward and out to the side. If you know that you need that strap or towel, feel free to grab that. I'm going to demo from a bent knee position to start. If you have this pose from Padangusthasana, where you can reach the big toe at your forward fold and lift the foot straight out, feel free to take that variation. It's a beautiful variation. All right, so here we go. So finding your strap if you need it. We're going to go ahead, find a nice Tadasana pose. And we're going to root through the left foot, and we're going to bring the right knee up. If you can, you're going to take your peace sign fingers and reach for the right big toe. If you can, you're going to cap off that big toe with the thumb. Just gives it a nice feel. So even before we begin here, you're going to drop that right thigh down, just like we have been doing with that thumbs up adjustment. So just feeling that on the right thigh and hip. Option to stay here or extend that right leg out long. You can always keep a bend into the knee, or you can straighten out if you have that in your practice. So drawing that right thigh down and under, and you have a strong, straight left leg. Find a point of focus and breathe. And again, a bent knee is great here. If you need the strap or towel, no worries. One more full breath. And then find the external rotation, very top of that right thigh. And then bring the leg out to the right. Keeping that thigh and hip rooted down. The leg does not have to be very high. Hip level is best. Now, if you want a challenge here, you can take the left hand into the right hip crease and take your gaze to the left side. One more full breath. Taking the leg back to center and release it down. Shake it out. Strong pose. Good work. So we're going to take that on the other side. If you need to grab your strap, knowing what we're going to do now, feel free to do that. All right, so we're going to root through the right foot. I'm going to bend into my left knee. And even so, I'm right here going to really root that top of the thigh down. Feel that action. Peace sign fingers are going to grab the left big toe. You're going to cap off your left toe with the thumb. Just feels nice and solid. So rooting down, left thigh and hip. Option to stay here. You're working just as hard. If you're ready, you're going to extend the left leg out long. Strong leg. You can always bend into the knee. Feel that opening into the hamstring. Keep your spine nice and tall, shoulders drawing back. Then we're going to find the external rotation at the very top of that left thigh, bringing the leg out. Again, it doesn't need to be very high. Hip level's best. Again, rooting that top thigh down and under. Hugging in with that outer right hip. Strong right leg. Option, challenge, to take that right hand into the waist of the left side and take your gaze to the right. One more full breath. We'll draw the leg back to center, bend into the knee, and back down. Nice job. All right. So we've been working some warriors today, our Resilient Warrior theme, and we're going to work Flying Warrior Prep at the wall. And that's Visvamitrasana. And so what we're going to do is you're going to find a wall where you can put your foot up onto the wall. So this is a nice way to open up through our hamstring and our outer hip. So I'm going to stand away from my wall, and I'm not going to mirror you. So you're going to just have to listen to what foot I'm putting up. I'm going to put my right foot up onto the wall, a little bit higher than my hip width distance. There you go. And then I'm going to find a comfortable stance for me in between. So I'm quite a bit away from the wall with that left leg. The foot can be either out, pointed in, or out, whatever feels best for how it feels into your femur bone. Now, what I want to do with the right leg is I'm going to externally rotate. So I'm going to find that external rotation, and it just brings my foot a little bit angled, a little bit more to the right. So to find a nice stretch into my side bodies and also my inner thigh and hamstring, I'm going to go ahead and hook my big toe with those peace sign fingers at the wall. I'm going to stay nice and tall and strong here as I lengthen especially through the right side waist. And then I'm going to inhale my left arm up and overhead. So really finding, I feel it into my inner thigh and the very top of my hamstring. So just holding here for a few breaths. Maybe you take your gaze, to the ceiling. One more full breath. And I'm going to inhale back up. So from here, I'm going to take my right arm. I'm going to put it and root it and resist it against the inner thigh of my right leg. So I want you to imagine your keys fell to the ground and you're trying to reach for those keys onto the ground. So again, visualize, if you're familiar with Flying Warrior Vishvamitrasana, how the pose looks in our Parsvakonasana side angle pose. And this is what we're doing at the wall. So the arm is going to stay down like it's rooting into the mat, or I'm trying to reach for those keys. Now, sometimes you can feel a little too much sensation into the knees, so go ahead and bend into that knee if that's the case. And then we're going to reach the left arm up and overhead, and you're going to try to reach for that left toe, finding the twist into the torso as you gaze towards the ceiling. So much opening here, so stay strong. Really reaching that right hand down towards the mat. Resist against the inner thigh. Look towards that ceiling. One more full breath. And then we'll inhale on up. And the best way to come out of this posture is to bend into that right knee and just push the foot off and release it. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh, what happened to that right leg? So much opening in that simple pose. So shake it out. Good work. And we're going to do that on the other side. So I'm just going to face my back to you, take my left leg to the wall so you can get a back view of what it looks like as well in the pose. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to bring the left foot to the wall. So again, it's a little bit higher than my hip. I'm going to find a nice spot for my right foot. Now, we're very different side to side in our external rotation, I find, in my body. So honoring that, the side is always a little more open for me on the left side. So externally rotating, so my foot angles a little bit back towards the left. And we're going to start with the hooking of the big toe with the left hand. So I'm going to find the hooking of the big toe, getting nice and tall. And then I'm going to inhale the right arm up and over, just getting a nice lengthening through both side waists, feeling my inner thigh and hamstring. You can always bend into the left knee as much as you need to if you feel too much sensation on either side of the knee. Two more full breaths. Then we're going to go ahead and inhale, release that. And then we're going to imagine that our keys are still on the ground. We haven't got them yet. The left arm comes onto the inner thigh of that left leg. I'm going to begin by a little bend into my knee here, just finding that nice resistance where I can rotate my torso towards the ceiling. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the right arm up and overhead, trying to reach towards that foot and pushing against that left thigh, keeping that foot rooted into the wall, rotating the torso. So imagining your Flying Warrior on the mat, if you have that in your practice. Similar action here at the wall. One more deep full breath. Then we're going to go ahead and reach that right arm back. We're going to bend generous into the left knee and just push it off of the wall and shake it out. So open, right? Feels good. So we're going to take a beautiful forward fold using a wall. I'm going to demo and then you can come in because it looks a little intimidating at first, but it really feels nice and it is an easy posture to come into. So I'm going to come up right against the wall. I'm going to take my feet a little wider and I'm going to go ahead and just forward fold. And then I'm going to walk my feet in and bring my back to the wall. Pushing against that wall and straighten the legs to comfort. I'm going to go ahead and clasp opposite arms here and just hang. Should feel good. If this does not feel good, feel free to take any forward fold, even a Utkatasana, Padahastasana, anything that feels nice for your body. We're holding for 5 full breaths. So really feeling my hamstrings here lengthen. You can always bend into the knees as much as you need. Soften with each exhalation. Maybe you let your eyes close. If you are up against the wall, to transition out of this, you bring your fingertips to the floor. You walk back just a tad, bend it generously into the knees. You're going to come on up, and I like to bring my fingertips to the wall, maybe the forehead to the wall, just to ground for a couple of breaths. One more full breath. You're going to go ahead and open the eyes if they're closed. Release yourself away. And so we're going to come into our final expression now of Vishvamitrasana, Flying Warrior Pose. I know for my body, it's a very challenging posture as you open up through the hamstrings, the inner thighs, and the hips, and it's a little bit of an arm balance. So there's going to be lots of options along the way. So we're going to take Warrior 2 with the left leg forward. So again, I'm not mirroring you, so you're going to want to listen here onto your side. You're going to find your Warrior 2 on the left side. And you may want to have a block and a strap or your towel in front of you in case you want to try it with a modification as well. So we'll see where it goes today in my body. Some days my body likes to do this pose. Other days it's no way, Jose. So we will listen to our bodies always. That's the way to go. So Warrior 2. From Warrior 2, we're going to come into that side angle pose, and that's where we come into the full variation of Vishvamitrasana. There's also an Ardha variation, a half on the back knee. I always find that that doesn't do good things for my lower back, so I don't like to teach that variation. So that if that is in your practice, it feels good for you, feel free to take the Ardha variation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just stick with me. So we're going to go ahead and come into that side angle pose. So again, option 1. Stay here, feel the pose, okay? Option 2, you're going to take the hand down to a block or onto the inside of the foot. So if you're coming into the Flying Warrior posture, I like to take my right leg out a little bit more to find that. And then I'm going to find that resistance of the left arm into that left leg. So the challenge of this posture is that I'm going to be lifting that left leg off of the mat. I'm going to try to reach for it with my right hand. Whoa is right? So we'll see where it goes today. So you can kind of reach in here. So trying to find that little bit of lift with the leg. Reaching for the outside edge of that left foot. So I have that. Now the challenge is to try to bring the torso up and under. Oh, so hard. One more full breath. And then finding Warrior 2. So again, super challenging pose for me, and probably for you as well. But it's fun to try it and just play, and you can always stay in the first variations that I have showed you. So we're going to go ahead and cartwheel the hands to the mat. Option to come to down dog or take an Ardha Vinyasa. So moving through Chaturanga, inhaling low cobra, upward facing dog, and transitioning through plank if you need to, finding down dog. We're going to float the right leg up and back. We're going to take the right foot up between the hands. We're going to seal the back foot down, coming into Warrior 2. So we have the right leg forward, finding that for yourself. So we'll see what happens on this side. We just never know. Warrior 2. So we'll find that side angle pose. So again, that strap or towel could be used around the hand to reach for that foot. I find that kind of hard, but that could be an option you could play with. So from here, again, you can float that arm, challenge everything here that you'd like to, but staying in Parsvakonasana. Bringing the hand to the block or the inside of the right foot, and then you'll be finding that Utthita variation with the arm and finding the rotation with the torso. So that is your option. If you want to try the Flying Warrior, I like to kind of extend my leg out, pushing the arm into the thigh, Then I kind of wrap it around just a tad of my arm so that I can bend into it, come up onto the ball of the foot, lift that leg up maybe. We'll try it. Finding the outside of the foot, lengthening through the leg, and then gazing underneath that arm. Oh man, fun times. We'll bend into the knee. Such an opener for the hips and the hamstrings. Wherever you're at, we'll return back to Warrior Two. So many poses in yoga to play with and experiment with. And again, it is a practice, never a perfect. Always working just on progress and enjoying the flow. So we'll go ahead and cartwheel the hands to the mat. That right leg will come back. Option to come to down dog or an Ardha Vinyasa. Your last one. You can do this. Inhaling low cobra up dog. While me downward facing dog. And then everybody's going to come down to the knees for child's pose. You're going to take your feet as wide as the mat, big toes to touch, and release back. Forehead down to a block or the mat. Full steady inhalations and exhalations. Feeling your body. Coming back to that steadiness, that ease, that strength, and that resilience that can only be found within you. Your connection to your light, our spiritual practices that fill us up and keep us steady and peaceful no matter what's going on around us. Three more deep full breaths, slow and steady. And then very gently, we're going to inhale, arise. We're going to come down onto our bottoms, preparing for Janu Shirsasana. We're going to take the right leg out. The left leg is going to come into the inner thigh. So we're going to be working the Parivrita variation, the revolved Janu Shirsasana. So classically, the right arm is going to come down onto the inside of the right foot, and then the left arm is going to come overhead. Now there's that option of having the arm that way, or you can use your arm as a nice little headrest here. If you want to take a little bit of a break and you don't want to lengthen too much through the side bodies, you're welcome to take that and take the left arm up and overhead, or the left hand can reach behind the head. So that would be option one. Option two, the arm can rest inside that leg. Inhaling the left arm up, keeping that left thigh rooted into the mat, that left seat rooted into the mat. Finding whatever you can on the foot, and then getting a beautiful, deep, deep opening on that left side body all the way down into that hip. Relaxing the jaw, the sides of the neck. One more deep full breath. Slowly releasing the left arm up and back, coming to the top and just pausing here. Closing the eyes, taking a deep full breath, just feeling that pose. Then we'll open the eyes, we'll switch sides. So we'll take the left leg forward, the right leg into the inner thigh. All right. So again, option one, if you don't want to take the arm all the way down onto the inner thigh, you can take a little fist here with the hand, and then that right arm can come up and over. It can even come behind the head. So that would be an option. Full variation, the arm resting on the inside of the left leg. A nice flex into the foot. We'll inhale the right arm up and over, reaching for what you can, keeping that right seat and thigh rooted into the mat. Feel that deep stretch along that right side. Breathe into it. Three more deep full breaths. And we'll gently bring that right arm back and over, pausing at the top, closing the eyes, feeling the posture, feeling the opening through the side bodies. Softly opening the eyes. So we're going to work on Anattasana. That's where we recline on our side, just holding our leg to the sky. So it's like a leg lift. And so we're going to be working into that, which is a nice pose for everyone. And then with the option of coming into Supta Vishvamitrasana, which is reclining flying warrior pose, a little more of an opening there. So you always have the option of staying with the first variation. So I'm not going to mirror you. I'm going to lie on my right side as I cue this. So finding yourself down onto your right side. You're going to go ahead and use your right hand to support your head. And then you want to lean a little more forward instead of back in this pose. The right leg's going to stay down. You're going to bend into the left leg and then bring it to the sky and grab onto the ankle. You can grab onto the big toe, anything that feels good. So our tendency would be to rock backwards, so just making sure that you're staying forward. So this is Anattasana, reclining side leg lift. So I'm going to work into a really beautiful opening for me. Again, a lot of these poses depend on the length of your arms and legs and just the proportions that you have in your body. So it may or may not work for you. This works best for people that have pretty open hamstrings. So you can just watch me. You can experiment with it or just stay right here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to release my hand to the mat, and I'm going to bring that leg a little bit closer towards, the left leg closer towards my face. I'm going to release my hand from my head, and I'm going to reach for the outside of the foot, or you can reach for the outside of the shin. And then I'm going to draw my leg back, and I'm going to rest my head in my arm. And this feels like really good for me. I'm pretty open in my hamstrings, and I can take the gaze wherever it's nice, and I can rest my head. So again, you can experiment with this. Supta Vishwamitrasana, reclining flying warrior. Or you can just stay in that first variation. We're going to hold for about 3 more full breaths. Now, wherever you're at, you're going to go ahead and just take the leg back up to the sky, or keep it there if you had it already. Hand back behind the head. Then I'm going to bend into my left knee and bring it forward onto the floor. So it's kind of like I'm just lounging, I'm watching TV, doing anything on the floor. Now we're going to get a quad stretch here, optional always. We're going to bend into the bottom leg, so that's our right leg. Bend into the knee and reach back for the foot, the ankle, anything you can grab. Find a quad stretch for yourself as you draw that right knee back a little bit. If you want more of a twist, you can take the gaze up towards the sky or towards the left. Lots of options here. 2 more full breaths. And then we'll go ahead and come back up. You want to gently release the bottom leg. And then we're going to do all this just reclining now on our left side. So you're going to switch sides. You're going to come onto your left side. I'll come this way so you can see me. All right, so we're going to start with the left hand behind the head. And then we're kind of leaning our hips forward. Place a bend into the right leg, and the right leg will come up. You're going to reach for the outside of the shin, the foot, wherever you want. So Anattasana, reclining leg lift. So again, you're welcome to stay here. We're going to work in that Supta Vishvamitrasana, reclining flying warrior. So I'm going to release the leg, bring the right hand. I'm going to release my arm from behind my head, find my foot or outside of the shin, draw it closer towards me, and then rest my head into that bicep. So I'm feeling a nice lengthening through my hamstring. If it's too much, come back to the first variation. I'm letting my head relax into my arm. What's cool about yoga is you can visualize the different shapes and postures in different planes of motion. So you can visualize them standing, reclining on the back. You can visualize them at the wall. You can visualize them in all different ways, in an inversion. So just kind of fun to think about. When you find your favorite yoga poses, can you see them in different variations and planes of movement? One more full breath wherever you're at. And we'll gently release that leg back, the hand behind the head, bend into the right knee, and go ahead and bring that leg over. There you go. And then we'll find that quad stretch, bending into that bottom leg, reaching back. And then you can find the twist by gazing more towards the ceiling or towards the right. One more deep full breath. Good work today, resilient warriors. So nice. So we're going to straighten through that leg. We're going to come onto our backs. We're going to start with a bend into the knees. All right, so first option here is going to be figure four. We're going to start with the left leg. We're going to bring that left foot over the right thigh. Option to stay here, and just you can push at the tops of the thighs, get a nice little adjustment. You can draw the hands behind that right thigh. So that is option one. I'm going to give you another option if you want to take it, if it's in your practice. If you have reclining pigeon in your pose, you could take that. So reclining pigeon is where you cradle that left calf and shin, that right leg comes long, and then you do even have the option of Eka Pada Shirsasana. So that's one foot behind the head. So some people have the range of motion, are bringing their leg behind the head and resting it there. I am able to do that, but today I don't feel like doing that. So you listen to your body. Again, if that's regularly in your practice and you'd like to take it, great. I'm going to stick with figure four today. So always listening to your body, knowing you have options. I love teaching in all levels practice because there's so much to it. And so again, if you're at the level where you want to do Eka Pada Shirsasana, please do. Take your full expression. A few more breaths here. And then we're going to be taking a twist to the right. So I'm going to demonstrate just a figure four twist. So I'm going to go ahead and just take my figure four and take it to the right. You're welcome to stay here, or you can take a deeper variation by twisting through the legs. You can take a classic easy twist, anything that feels good for you. I'm just going to hold this figure four twist. I find that gives me a nice stretch through the outside of the hip and right into the front of the thigh as well. So coming into our extended exhalation breath, noticing whatever your inhale count is to your breath, that you double out the exhalation, beginning to really relax through our nervous system, preparing for Shavasana, Our final resting pose. Three more full breaths here. And we'll go ahead and return back to center. So we're going to begin by taking the right foot and ankle over the left thigh for figure 4 on this side. You can stay here pushing against the tops of the thighs, or you can go ahead and hug behind that left thigh. Or you feel free to take reclining pigeon, where you cradle that front thigh and shin and extend the left leg long. If you want to take Eka Pada Shirsasana, taking that leg behind the head, feel free to take that as well. I'm coming back to the figure 4. Feels good for my body today. Beautiful, extended exhalation breaths. Such a powerful way to calm the body, the mind, and the spirit. Recalling once again those times in your life that you have been resilient, that you pushed through those muddy waters, that you saw the light and you were able to stay strong, steady, and come to your full expression. Three more full breaths. We're gently going to release out of our hip opener into our twist. So I'm going to take the figure 4 twist. I'm just going to bring that foot down, relax the knee down, getting the opening for me into that right outer hip in the front of the thigh. Closing the eyes, if you haven't already, helps us just to draw our attention back inward. So softening the gaze outward and deepening the gaze inward. Very powerful, especially in today's stress, constant fluctuations, changes, uncertainties, and unsteadiness. Just taking the gaze deeper inward and less outward. Finding your source of strength, steadiness, ease, and resilience. Three more full breaths here. And we're going to gently come back to center, hugging the knees into the chest, Anattasana, gently rocking side to side on the lower back. Reaching for the outside edges of the shins or the feet for happy baby pose. Again, you can rock gently side to side if you'd like. Just a nice way to release the lower back and the hips. And then hugging the knees in again, we're going to row your boat knee circles. So you're going to hold on to the tops of the kneecaps. So you're going to keep the feet relatively together. And you're just going to rotate the hips outwardly for a few rounds. And then reverse your rotations. So go ahead and take it in the other direction, 3 full rounds. If there's anything you would like to do before Shavasana, please take that now. For Shavasana today, I'm going to give you 2 options. One is constructive rest pose, and the other is resting the calves onto the blocks, extending the legs out long. So again, constructive rest is where the feet are a little bit wider than hip width distance. And you can knock the knees in and just relax here. It's a nice release for the front of the thighs and the lower back. Or you can place the blocks underneath the calves, a little bit wider than hip width distance, and relax the legs long on the blocks. Another nice release for the tops of the thighs. So picking what works best for your body today, settling in to your final rest, Shavasana. Starting with the hands just at the low ribs. Fingertips are touching, or just the middle fingertips are touching. Just a few belly breaths here. So just breathing deep into the belly. Feel the fingertips release from one another, and then as you exhale, the fingertips come back together. 3 more deep belly breaths. One more deep belly breath. Let it expand. Exhale, release. Arms can rest here still, or you can release them down by your sides. Scanning the body head to toe. Noticing where you're gripping or holding any tension, and consciously releasing your body into the mat. Let everything go. Let yourself now deeply rest. Shavasana.
You are welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. If you're ready to transition, just bringing your awareness to the breath. Your breath of life flowing freely. Each breath a purpose. Bring some gentle movement to fingers and toes. Maybe rock the head gently side to side. If it feels right, you can take a full body stretch. Go ahead and place a bend into the knees if they're not already. Transitioning into a fetal position on either side.
And just remembering that 10% of life is what happens to you, and 90% is how you react or respond to it. Remember your resilience, your strength, and your steadiness. Find those practices and those people around you, your support network, who help you to be resilient. The world around us is going to continue to change and fluctuate, but we can remain strong, steady, and resilient. Using the strength of the arms to make your way into a comfortable seat.
As you find that comfortable seat, we're going to draw the hands at heart center for a few breaths. As your hands are at heart center, keeping the pinkies and the thumbs connected, spread out the fingers into Lotus Mudra, Padma Mudra. The mudra of perseverance and resilience. Just taking a few breaths here in quiet reflection and meditation, fully integrating our practice. Allowing the palms to close fully. It's always a true honor and a pleasure to guide your practice. Thank you for sharing your beautiful presence with me. From the light within me, I honor and respect the light within you. Walk in grace and peace and shine bright, my friends. Much love and namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. Stay resilient, warriors. You can stay connected with me on my website, loveserveinspire.com.